Hi. So once in a while, I talk about walk-ins, and usually in a scenario where a lot of people want to leave this world and they're looking for an easier way out without hurting their relatives or making a weird mess at their home or other places, and actually not messing up the body where you tried, you failed, and then shit happened and now you're fucked. I'm talking in a sense of not just going to sleep and you get out of body and you find someone who will replace your consciousness here on earth, but in our daily lives. And we don't really notice it. It seems like a normal day, but how would you tell that yesterday's actions were yours and not someone else's if all you had were the memories? Let's say when you dream, and you wake up in another world, you remember everything that that body has done. You recall everything, the whole history. I'm not saying in every dream, but more where you are conscious, where you are more awake and lucid. And if you ask yourselves, what have I been doing here? Where am I? You'll know all the answers because in that world, you're living. In that world, you have been existing since for however long. And that part of you that just sort of the same way you're going to charge your phone and you plug in and boom, you have a connection, is the same way your consciousness goes and connects to another aspect of you and will basically get all the memories. Everything that part of you knows, you know, and you just kind of blend, you become one. And stuff from this world doesn't really connect. As in, like, you can have it, but it's not a primary memory. It's not something you need. It's like something you can access and look at and know if you need to. But at that moment in that life, no, there are other priorities and other things you care about. But here in this world, I was talking about cases where we get out and someone's going to replace us. But now more and more I see where we have walk-ins, but temporary for a few hours or a day. And they live within our body. They live within us here. And a lot of times, like, what the hell are you talking about? Am I being possessed? In a way, a lot of these circumstances where you seem like, how the hell could I have done something so stupid? How the hell could I get myself involved in that? I can't believe I have agreed to this, or little accidents. There are times where we are possessed, so to speak. But walk-ins, certain beings wanting to play within a human body, don't necessarily need your approval. Well, like, yeah, they're gonna try to get it. It's like you have to do it consciously, but in lots of ways, people who are not specific about what they want and or need will get that more often. I'm not saying that, hey, look at me, I'm a spiritual worker, I know it all, and that shit doesn't happen to me. Like, no, it does. It does happen to me. It does happen to everyone, even those that work for 40 years in the spiritual community and getting better and stuff like that. It happens to them too once in a while. I'm not saying it's an everyday thing, maybe once a year, but it does happen. And it's in a sense where you literally just have memories of something you've done. You remember conversation, you remember every single word, and however you would remember your yesterday, if your memory is good, that's how you would get the whole experience. It's basically just download of that information. And so there are times where we will act out in ways that don't really blend with our character. It's not really us. It kind of goes against your values. And, maybe let's say you are in a relationship and you love another person, your SO, your husband, your wife, and you will just end up doing something stupid. Like in your whole life, you were like, I have hardcore values and we're never going to split, it's monogamy and other things that you would care about, maybe if that's your case. And then one day you find yourself fooling around with someone else. And you could like, oh, well, it was less, it could have been tons of other things, and looking at ways to like explain what happened, and then, oh shit, I have to deal with the whole thing and tell the other partner of mine about what happened if you want to tell them and all the stuff. And then you live your whole life looking at, there was that one time I fucked up. But was it really you? Or was it someone that came into your body, and for that moment, for those 5, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, however long, they played your role. They played being Tom or being, I don't know, Susan or something. And it's so easy because all they do is they connect, and now they're here within your body. And some of us might literally like, there are more people who will be abducted in a way. Groups will try to mess with you. They see you spiritually waking up, getting better, working on yourself, and they're like, let's mess with this person. So they can literally put your consciousness in their body while you work, and it's going to be maybe 1 hour long thing, and they're going to push you back in. And it all seems like a dream, or it's as if like you come back and you have memories of what you've been doing for the last hour, and you know it all, like, hey, I lived it, it's my body, it's my life. But that last hour wasn't in your control. It just felt like it, because it's a memory. And I was present at that moment. I remember doing this, but was it really you? Was it really you doing that thing to fuck up your life and really go against your values and really kind of create this thing where for the rest of your life, if you have a case, you're going to feel guilt, you're going to feel bad, wrong, and you're like, oh my God, like you're going to blame yourself. So it happens to a lot of people, and it can go in various ways. It can go into simple, oh, you have a coffee cup, you're going to drink your morning coffee and your hand slips and that's it. And some being just literally got within your body, did that oopsie, and they're out. And you were there, you were fully conscious, and oh, just an accident, clumsy me. What was it? And I'm not really saying like, oh, you should not blame yourself for everything. You're not responsible for all this stuff. Like, no, you are. You are responsible. But this is like scarier than usual. And I'm not like into, oh my God, you're being possessed and all this stuff. But like, it takes more, I don't know, discern to tell the difference. I'm talking like, we used to have difficulties between you and the entity, and which one is yours. And we focus on negative accidents. But now when we have walk-ins, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen from time to time. And these beings will show up usually at the key moments in life where you're going to mess up, slip up, do something stupid that later you're going to regret. And they're just there to plant that guilt, to plant that negative emotion where you could have picked one thing and you picked the other, and now, oh my God, I wish you didn't. The key moments of maybe, you just finished college and school and everything else, and you're going to go with, I want this career. And you really, really, really want to go for it. But then there's the part of you that, nah, I'm going to take the other one. And that little doubt, that little thing that gets you on a different track, that will keep you wondering for the rest of your life, what would have happened if I would have picked the other thing? If I had just different decision at that moment. And so like, there are times where these beings can get into our space, and not all of them are good. Not all of them are bad. Literally, I've been working with a few people that have this case of, hey, some people that, or some beings that they have met before coming here on Earth, they were buddies, they were working together, they were like just doing stuff together. And then, you like one person goes here on Earth, eventually after a few thousand years, that person goes their way. And then after, let's say 10,000 years of living different lives and stuff, they like this person that was living freely, like not on Earth, finds out, oh, my buddy's on Earth, let's find out what happened. And they see you, and the way you have relationship with them, where you used to be two buddies pranking others, two buddies being healers, two buddies talking to others. Like, there are beings that we have met and have connections with where they will try to show up in various ways. Sometimes they're gonna like, for example, you have a grandpa and they have this, I don't know, like, or let's say grandma. You have a grandma, she has her perfume and she died like lots of years ago, and now you are in your room and you smell her perfume, you're like, oh my God, like it feels like she's here. So a lot of times the way we can tell, oh, like it's our body or it's someone we know by the sign, by the smell, by the presence, There are beings who will try to show their presence, but how would you know if you don't remember your past lives? How would you know if you had a memory wipe and these beings are trying to communicate to you the way they used to and all the stuff, and it's not working because you're not picking it up, you don't remember your signs, like whatever, like I'm just like, feels like I'm being messed with, feels like I'm having this happening, and it's actually someone trying to get in touch with you by the things you used to do together, and you're not getting it. So now they're more like nagging and antagonizing, so to speak. So there's like lots of variations where someone we know might want to get within your space and literally pranking you, causing little things like, like, hey, your buddies, you're gonna joke around, you're gonna tease each other, and literally they can get within your space, and you're just gonna have this fight. And the way you used to tease each other, the way you used to play various games and stuff, have thoughts and become like, oh, look at the ponder about life and the universe and all this stuff, like different things can happen. So there are times when someone we have met will try to communicate to us, and it will show up in various like ways. But good luck picking it up and thinking you're not being like a targeted individual. And there are those where you are a targeted individual, where beings will try to get into your space. But now those are more, I don't know, like really gets into your space, really obnoxious, really frustrating, like too many thoughts, too many bad things happening, too many being clumsy and attracting the negative. And it's not always the entities, but reasons for why you might have one issue or the other can be millions. And well, maybe not that much, but really there's never just one thing causing that one issue. Really, it builds up. There's lots of things that come together, and eventually you get one thing or the other. And so looking at it, like becoming more and more aware of yourself, your everyday life, and questioning some of the actions you do and the ways you feel. When it goes great, that's great. But that's also when we kind of let things kind of a bit more loose, so to speak. We relax. We're not all that, holding your guard, which is good. Like if you can finally let go of all the shit in the world that's really messing you up and relax, just like, okay, taking it easy, taking care of yourself, taking time to be bored, taking time to be lazy, but doing it consciously and enjoying it. That's good for you if you do it. If you're taking care of yourself, if you love yourself and all this stuff, great. But at times where it goes sideways and you start getting more negative experiences, or just this weird, had a loss, like few great weeks, and there's that one thing, like just too good to be true for like when your days are like going great for too long. That's not going to last long. Those thoughts and stuff where, okay, well, is it an entity, is it us, is it our thoughts, is it the programming? And then we attract something, shit happens, and like it can be little things, it can be big things. But as we're sort of just like trying to find out what's going on, why am I getting this, another thing to add on the list is walk-ins. And they come in various shapes and forms. It's not like a being who wants to come here and take over and stay and take over your body like for good. It's more like for moments. It can be 5 minutes, it can be an hour. It doesn't last longer than a week. It doesn't last longer than a few days. It's more like they're going to be there at the key moments where you're going to have certain experiences that will impact you and your point of view as it goes later in life. As in, a week can pass, a month can pass, a year can pass, and you're going to look back at that little thing you have done a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that you kind of regret, you kind of feel bad about. And yes, we have to take responsibility. Yes, we have to take care of ourselves and look at our case and not blame everyone else all the time. But we also have to be aware that there are times where no matter how hard you try to be responsible, no matter how hard you try to manifest the best and everything else, it's not going to work all the time, because the game is rigged and not everything goes as we think. And there's always something else that we don't know and are not aware of that can impact us, and boom. So something to add on the list. I don't know, like I'm still looking at the subject. It's like somewhat new to me. Like I knew about it, but I haven't explored it much. And now with more and more clients, I see it more often, like hey, like it's not all reptilians, it's not all entities. Now it's just other conscious beings doing that to you. And sometimes, conscious beings that are good, maybe, it's someone from past life that really wants to connect and help you. And, like, hey, please look at me. They want you to be aware of them and acknowledge their existence and remember them from their past lives and all this stuff. That's one thing. But there are other times where, hey, we have entities, we have grays, we have reptilians, and now let's add some free-level agencies using their tech and like consciousness transferring and everything else to get within your space and really mess you up. So, not to bring bad news, but I've just did, and just it's never ending. But I think, like, for myself, the more aware I am of these things, the more I can try to take control of my life, or at least like, hey, like that thing that happened 15 years ago that I can blame myself for, I need to let it go or find a way to deal with it, because I was not aware that maybe that time it wasn't me. And like, how would I know? Well, then you have to go like past life regression or look back at that moment, rerun it, see who was running the body and all the stuff, like a lot of little things. And does it even matter to you? Do you even give a damn? If no, great for you. Move on, do your thing, focus on whatever you want to focus on, and that's good for you. If that thing does bug you and it gets in the way, and like after 20 years it's still coming back, well, it might be good to face it, confront it, look deeper into it, and see the logic, decisions, and whatever else that keeps coming back that's bugging you, to find a way to let it go. So anyway, that's about it for today. Thank you for watching. Hope it was helpful. If you have had any weird experiences where you felt like someone possessed you, where someone comes into your body and you're not yourself anymore, or you act out in ways that when you look back, it's totally not you, share those, because it might not have been you. It might have been someone else. So, if you had anything like that, share in the comments if you want to. And if not, well, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.